This morning we started a little construction project here. We are going to build a covered manure storage area. So we have a manure stacking area that's next to the barn up top here, and they'd like us to put a cover over it so that we can keep the manure in there a little bit longer. We had to break up some concrete first from an old foundation of an old chicken house that was here, and now they're digging footers and getting ready to pour concrete.
Like Shorty Mac Jack.
Someday, hopefully. All right, so yesterday we got the footers dug and we got the footers poured for our manure storage barn that we're building. And today they are getting ready to pour the walls. Fun to watch. So they got the walls poured, they got the forms all broke down and loaded up. Next up is pouring the floor. All right, so the poured walls are all finished up. They started bringing in some stone at the end of the week there. Next week, we're gonna look at pouring the floor in here. So you might be wondering why we're putting a roof over the area where we stack manure. And the reason is that DEP has asked that any manure that's stored outside for more than 2 weeks be under roof. And the reason is that when it rains, the rainwater can wash the manure out from the stacking area and it kind of leach into the ground. As we talked about before, all of our manure application is very calculated. We look at the specific nutrients that the ground needs and then we add the manure appropriately. So we have to make sure that none of the manure that we have stored here is getting to the ground without us knowing it or without being a part of our calculations. So once we have a roof over our stacking area, we'll be able to stack it and store it out here for a lot more than 2 weeks. That'll help us schedule our manure hauling with when there's ground available to haul it on.
What are you guys doing?
We're stacking this wood up in the loft. See, this Papa bought this at the auction.
Yeah.
So,
How are you going to get it up there?
just pick it up and shove it up there.
How many pieces did you get up there?
This is the first one. We
First one.
just bring it up all of the wood up. Your piece of wood. What? I'll put with this piece.
Okay, I'll come back to check. Good stuff. Look, I can help you. Time to feed calves, and it's a lovely rainy evening. Still get a little wet. You a little wet?
Yeah.
It's actually starting to kind of stop now. Hello. You guys don't look that wet.
What?
You don't look too wet.
What?
Oh.
What?
Let me see. You slipped in the mud? Oh.
My elbow was like.
Ah, you're bleeding. You're kind of bleeding?
Let me see. Yeah, you're bleeding. Right on your elbow. Hi.
You got some mud on your neck.
Oh, Jaden drew mud at me.
4-H calves. This is Moses. Jaden's calf. Benji. Bruno.
We don't talk about him.
Yep. Hi. And this is Kaylin's calf. Durango. What they really want is for you guys to give them the grain.
So it looks like next week we're going to be baling our barley straw. So we're going to be combining the barley, and the straw is left as a byproduct of the grain, and we bale that up and use it for bedding for the rest of the year. So we have to get the baler ready. We have a small square baler that we don't use very often, and last year we had a huge mess with this baler. It was breaking bales and it was a big mess. Bales weren't tight enough, so this year we decided we're gonna try to get this thing working a little bit better so that we can do a better job baling small bales. The reason we bale small bales is for the calves. So most of our baling is done with big bales, round bales, or big square bales, but for the calves, it works great to have small bales because we can divvy them up and the kids can carry them around and it's not a big deal. Especially up top where we have calves, because we can't bring big bales in there. So anyway, so we're gonna get this baler ready, and we got it hooked up to the McCormick, the new tractor that we got, and hopefully we'll be ready to do some baling next week. So we're gonna replace this one bearing here. This is the linkage that runs the ram that pushes the bales out. And this bearing is shot. I'm trying to get this bearing out of the old pillow block here, and it is pretty froze in there, so got it. That thing is shot. All right, so we got our new bearing here. Let's see if we can get this thing back in this. So we put the new bearing in, but the new bearing is way too loose in this casting. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna spin the whole bearing instead of spinning just the inner race. So I think we're gonna need a new housing. Fortunately, they did send us a new housing. I thought maybe we could reuse the old one because it's like 200 bucks for the new housing, but looks like not. So let's get the bearing put in this new housing. See how that's nice and tight? Now when you turn it, just the inner race turns. That's what we want. Good thing we got both parts. All right, I think we're all set, so see if we can do some baling next week. Thanks for watching.